What is up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic Cards Podcast, show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name is Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavroni Jones. Gavin, how the heck are you doing?
Dude, good. Where did this year go, though?
Yeah, I don't know. It happened. It was slightly better, I guess, than last year, right?
Yeah.
Because that was 2020. So. We didn't have the vaccine yet, and dark days. Now we have the vaccine, but nothing else has changed beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaccinated and clapping cheeks, and that's the...
That's my new bumper sticker and tramp stamp. I tell you what.
How you been, bud?
I've been good, although today I was walking around at work. I don't know if you feel the same depression that I do, not from like everyday life, but once we're post Game Awards, I just keep thinking like, what else is there to look forward to? Like E3? 6 months from now, like that, I felt really good. Like wondering what was going to happen in the Game Awards, and we got it, and it was debatable whether they, succeeded or not. I was hoping for some like crazy announcements, but after Game Awards, I'm like, okay, what the hell next? What do I do?
Nothing to look. It comes all back to that Devolver Digital thing. It's like we care more about the hype, and now the hype is gone.
That's 100% how it is. I actually liked how anything was possible. Like we can go to the moon, everything before Game Awards, and then it happens, and we got some cool stuff. Yeah. But maybe we can never be satisfied, for announcements or whatever. But let's talk about Game Awards. What did you think now, post almost a week later? How'd you feel watching that? The 5 hours that it was.
Yeah, that was shockingly long. I think it was a little. I maybe got my expectations up too high. Same. But I thought it was good. I did hear or I did see an article that made a really fine point of like we should stop calling this Game Awards because that's like almost an insult to like award shows.
Yeah, the amount of award coverage that's on the show.
So,
I hear you, and that's there's been a lot of like post Game Awards breakdowns and criticisms and stuff, and I think they are too long. Right, 3 hours is too long, and maybe they can modify a way to or figure out like what's the sweet point in how long it should be. Somebody on Twitter, it was Brian Altano of IGN, was saying like, what if we do one half of the show is awards, the other half is announcements.
Sure,
we kind of split up that way. Maybe that will have people watching one or the other, though, compared to watching the whole thing.
Right.
I don't know. But Jeff Keighley's been going, as before the show, he was going on Twitter, and he'll do these, I forget, it's called Spaces on Twitter. Anybody can jump on, they can ask a question, you can listen to it live, and he'll just take questions from anybody. And so he did one the night after on Friday morning, and just talking to random people, asking them what they thought, taking ideas, and people did not grill him, but they brought up the points of like, okay, it's way too long or not enough presence on the awards. And I think he brought up fair counterpoints, but also was like willing to listen to stuff. I did like that. He was willing to hear from the community, like, what do you want to see?
Yeah.
And it has changed a lot in the past years. Like it used to be, I would argue, more like Hollywood focused because they're really trying to like show why you should care about games. But now games are the biggest revenue earning industry compared to like movies or TV.
I think someone definitely pointed out that like there was probably twice as much ad time as there was like time given to the awards.
Yeah.
Like, and these people are being cut off super early, which is crazy. But is there any, to speak to the announcements, what do you think was your announcement of the show? Or what are, what's got you the most hyped that we saw, or maybe the first time you've seen gameplay for something? I mean, certainly Senua's Sacrifice, or I don't know what the new one's called.
Yeah. Senua's Here We Go Again, or something like that. We're back at it again. But
Bogus
that's the
Journey.
Yeah, there you go. That's my game of the show, was seeing Senua's Sacrifice and seeing the engine, and it's insane, the visual quality they're able to pull off, and I can't wait to play it. There's that. Beyond that, I'm trying to figure out what was dope. It was cool to see that Quantic Dream teaser reel for Star Wars.
Right. Yeah, and you're a huge. Well, aren't you a big Quantic? Maybe I'm thinking something else.
Yes, but it's one of those things where it's like your favorite streamer sends the N-word on Twitch. It's like that with Quantic Dream, where it's like you want to love them, but they have so many skeletons in their closet. Okay. That was the best analogy I can pull out of my ass.
I have no clue where you're going with that.
With Quantic Dream, they come with all this baggage, like the main guy at the studio. I forget his name. He's a well-known figure, and he says a lot of crazy shit. They have a lot of issues with just the way they treat their devs, which some people brought up criticism where after Jeff Keighley's thing basically referencing Activision and the criticism they're getting that's justified. Then they go into Quantic Dream, which has their own issues as a studio too for those same things. So it's kind of like, but yeah, I like them. I wish they would do better and maybe get rid of the main dude. But I like what they try to do with their games, where they have all these story branches and you can affect the story with whatever you choose. I'm a big nerd for that kind of stuff.
Right.
So whatever, studio ends up picking that up. There was a studio a couple of years ago, and they've made games since then, but they did this scary game that was on PlayStation first, where you could, it was like a horror game, like a teen horror movie that was a game. Had like a butterfly effect kind of concept where if you do something. Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Something not Chronicles. I know Man of Medan was one of them.
Yes. And now they have a storyline that arcs everything together. It's like a universe.
Oh, you were talking about the first one.
The first one.
Yeah, and that one got pretty high praise.
And that studio is really cool. I like what they're doing. I'm just a fan for that kind of gameplay. So yeah, that's my issues with Quantic Dream. But even then with that game, it's still like we'll see in 4 years. Like they're just starting on that game. So it's going to be a while. But what comes to mind with you for this last Game Awards? It was like, oh shit. Well, there's the Warhammer too, right?
Right. And we'll get to that in a sec. But you mentioned spooky. I think we got to talk about what the fuck is Alan Wake 2 going to be? Yeah.
So Remedy did, they had, what's the main dude? I'm blanking on his name. His name has a lake in there.
Max Payne.
He's Max Payne. But he was doing a bunch of interviews, did one with IGN, with Ryan McCaffrey, and they talked about, okay, what is Alan Wake going to be, the sequel? They're leaning hard on the survival horror, so they've confirmed that. It's going to be third person still, but they are still just like, they're working on it. It's all hands on deck, and they're not going to update for a while. But I think they just lean further into the scary, spooky moments of Alan Wake that I've seen from footage, and maybe rely less on feeling like you're flying through the air like in Control. But I'm excited.
You know what? I think I figured out why I think there's 2 Alan Wakes. I think I was thinking of...
There's a DLC?
No. Well, there is DLC, and it's very famous. But like, there's a different game. I think it's from Konami.
Oh, The Evil Within.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because they're third person, same kind of concept. I think they're going to push harder. In their direction, but yeah, I see what you mean with that. But Megan brings up in the chat the Thirst game from Annapurna. So it's like the dating sim thing where there's your mom is one of the characters, and she's just like giving you shit for dating.
This the
Annapurna
that, like had a I want to say an Indian family, but some sort of Middle Eastern
I believe
family.
so, yeah.
Yeah, that looked hella fun.
Right, and there's like dancing and fighting that's happening in the game. Yeah, that looked really cool.
There was another one. You walked out of the room for it. You might pull it up on YouTube. I think it was called Have a Nice Death.
Have a Nice Death.
And it basically looked like someone mixed Ori and the Blind Forest. Yeah, that's it. With Hollow Knight.
Gotcha.
You can kind of skip the first part and just go right to the gameplay. While this part is kind of fun. But the gameplay looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, look at this.
Ooh, yeah.
That's fucking gorgeous.
I see what you mean, yeah. With Ori, almost Death's Door-esque kind of art style to it.
Yeah.
But 2D platformer action. Yeah.
So that was kind of a shocking one.
Yeah, and then they had stuff. So we're seeing this was shown off before the Game Awards. They actually showed off quite a bit of stuff before. They had this game that takes place in the TV show series that you like called The Expanse.
Oh, right.
And it's the Telltale devs that are working on it. Yeah.
I thought they went under, so I'm excited to hear.
I looked that up because I thought they were as well, and they did go under, but they were bought out by another company to continue on, and they kind of hired some of the main crew back on.
Really?
But now they exist as Telltale, but like funded by somebody else. But yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because I was like, I remember when they shuttered, it was a big deal. But no, they're still around.
Well, The Expanse, I didn't realize too. They're starting up their new season, and they've changed it. They've always done the whole things out at once, I'm pretty sure. And now they're going to a new episode each week, which I don't know. I like that coming back, or like with Arcane, they did 3 episodes per week, and that worked. I like the experimentation. It's dumb that I'm wanting inconvenience in my life, but I think it helps with the enjoyment of this stuff.
Yeah, we talk about like it builds the hype and gives you something to look forward to, and yeah, there is an argument for that. It's just we're used to binging everything at once. But is that their final series or final season?
I don't know. I know there's more books, but I think
Gotcha.
I mentioned it that I've been told this is the best. They've split one book into 2 seasons, and I've been told this is the best book.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
we'll see. I don't know. It gets pretty crazy. So I could see getting a little crazy fatigue.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, that's a show I need to get into. I watched the first episode, and it's like the roughest, arguably, because that's when they didn't have the budget behind them yet and stuff. But
oh really?
but yeah, I watched the first episode of that show.
I thought they had the budget from day one, but yeah, you might be right.
And there's my dude, a Tom something. He's in the pilot or the first episode. He is the original Hulk from the movie.
Really?
Tom Jane. There you go.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Can you look him up, bro?
Yeah, Tom Jane. Once I find him,
I've never seen the original Hulk. Because
Really?
I've been warned
No way.
against
I'm thinking of Bruce Banner. He's the original. He's the original Punisher. The Tom Jane is right here. He's this guy.
That guy played the.
Yeah, the original Punisher.
Oh, that
movie.
is no. Is
He's a I
was
think
he
that's a
the
scene
original
from
Punisher?
the. He was.
Wow.
Then they did a reboot, sort of, with another Punisher.
Yeah, there he is with the fucking paper cutter.
Yeah, that's a great part of the part of the
God,
movie.
he was so young back in that. Like
Yeah, it's at like 30s.
the wrinkles just hit.
He's got a weathered face, let me tell you.
I really like that Punisher. It's really cheesy,
Yeah, sure.
and I think that adds to it.
And I think John Travolta's the bad guy. in that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That fucking scene, I think it was the end, so spoilers for like a 15-year-old movie, but the
At
scene
least.
where I think it's John Travolta being dragged behind a car into a parking lot, exploding into the shape
Yeah,
of the Punisher skull. That was amazing. But yeah, he's really good in it. Yeah, it's good. I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but more people should.
And I love
watch it.
sci-fi, so I got to give it a shot at some point.
It is the sciest of phi, and they take their sci extremely seriously.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so like spaceships will be goofy shaped because it doesn't fucking matter. You're not dealing with as much friction in space.
Sure, yeah. If as long as you have your warp drive, engine, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
or the aliens eating spice all day and they can go teleport. But did you?
Yeah.
So we watched Game Awards last Thursday. Did you watch anything? Experience life at all in the past couple days?
I finished Ted Lasso season 2.
Ooh,
So I have no tears left. It's way too good.
gotcha.
I've been watching again. Umbrella Academy.
You told me that you rebooted that or started again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also I'm kind of excited because I can't entirely remember season 1. I can't remember who killed their dad at all.
Did they reveal it, right? Because I think the show starts with
Think
they meet
so.
up again at the funeral.
Yeah.
Right. I don't remember who does it, but yes, that's a good thing when you've watched a show, loved it, but you don't remember. Then it gives you you feel like you're watching for the first time. Like me and Megan are watching The Good Place. It's the same thing where it's as we're watching, didn't that thing happen? It's I'm not sure if it happens yet or imagined it, but it feels good to feel like you're watching it again for the first time.
Yeah.
There's certain shows you can do that, or The Office. We'll watch that till the end of the world and still find it funny.
That's true.
The first 5 seasons, then it falls apart. But
Have you been watching anything?
not a whole lot. We watched The Last Duel. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, what'd you think?
It was dope. Really fucking dope.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Ridley Scott. You have Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, a bunch of other people, but those are the main people in it. But it's based on a historical fact. It's the last duel that took place in France in the late 1300s. And the duel was over this dispute between these two dudes and this woman who she was sexually assaulted by this dude. And the husband defends her honor, sort of, but they tell the 3 different interpretations of what happened. So they go with Matt Damon, who's the husband. They go with homeboy from Star Wars is in it, who Megan loves. He's the guy with the nose and the ears and the tallness. And he's got hair. Why am I blanking on his name? Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Kylo Ren is in it, and he's the guy who she's accusing of him. So they take his point of view, they take hers, they take Matt Damon's, and it's just the way they tell out the story is really good. There's very heavy moments,
Sure.
for sure, but the overall story
it's a story about an accused rape.
yeah. So
And the trailer definitely makes it unclear whether it actually happened or not.
the way they
So
played
that
is very good.
stresses me.
Right, but it all leads up to the duel at the end. Man, it's fucking dope. You got to watch it. It's so good. And then it's a bummer because we wanted to watch it in theaters. And that was one where Ridley Scott was blasted all over online because he had that quote saying he was blaming
the
teenagers and millennials for their damn phones. He's like yelling at the cloud. But it's like we wanted to watch that movie. We couldn't find it in theaters. So we would have gone and watched. We did watch House of Gucci, which is also another Ridley Scott movie. Adam Driver's in that too.
Adam Driver movie.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Year of Adam Driver.
Which Megan's not mad at that at all. She loves her some Adam Driver. But yeah, that was dope. Beyond that, I started watching. So Xbox put out this documentary about the history of Xbox, about the beginning, creating the first Xbox, and then going into the future beyond that. But it's really good, and they get a lot of like in-depth interviews, and they follow like the conception of getting the actual project greenlit, and the hurdles of like launching it at the same time. Man, it's a really good story. There is a clip I want to show you that's just funny to me that I have pulled up, but it's on YouTube. It's like a 6-part.
Oh, that's right, The Rock.
So when they did some promo, it's just a short little thing here.
You know, you bringing that up kind of makes me think about like just randomly, but like Microsoft is very good when they start a product. They typically stick with it. Like we're so used to Google,
like the Zune.
Maybe okay, that's a solid exception, but there's so many times where they start something and they back it to hell, and whereas like I think the secret is having a good launch, and I've heard people say like the Zune was amazing.
Yeah, I think it was, but it's just the competition was so fierce with iPod, and they had the brand recognition, and it was just easier, cooler too. Yeah. You know, you have Bill Gates going, "Oh, you can listen to music on the Zune." It's like people didn't want to buy that because it was just not cool. But yeah, it was like a cool product at the same time.
Whereas Google, it's just let's abandon as much. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Stadia is still going.
It is. I think 2022 is the last year of Stadia, but yes, it is going. But here's a clip from this Xbox. It's called Power On, the story of Xbox. Here's a little clip here.
Man, we've got back when The Rock wasn't super small.
Yeah, we're taking it back to the year 2000.
The Rock to CES.
It's just a short bit here.
Honestly, some disbelief. Like, Bill Gates, The Rock, like, what's going on here?
But they have a back and forth, which I find funny.
It's really like muscle-bound Hollywood meets,
I finally finished Red Nose this weekend.
That The Rock and Bill Gates don't have a heck of a lot in common.
With The Rock and...
yes.
Yep, that's a movie.
Well, The Rock's here to say that can't be farther from the truth. The Xbox is everything The Rock is. Cutting edge, powerful, exhilarating.
And they were funny together. Like, it actually worked.
And they looked like they were best friends.
I mean, The Rock doesn't impress easily, Bill, you know that, but I'm pretty damn impressed with what we're seeing here today. And considering that this Xbox at this moment is only running on 1/5 of the system's power, it's very impressive. Bill, do you have any idea what The Rock would be like if he were only running on 1/5 of his power?
Well, I would think that...
It doesn't matter what you think, Bill. No, I'm sorry.
God, he always talked in third
force of habit.
So yeah, this is WWE Attitude Era Rock. But I just find that funny. But there's tons of like really cool insights. They talked about just pitching the idea of the Xbox to Bill Gates, and then after that, like trying to figure out which team was going to work on it. So you had Microsoft or Windows CE, which was like this porting Windows to other different platforms. They had Windows CE on the Dreamcast. So that team was still live within, and it's on like the brand name and stuff with the Dreamcast. They handled networking and other stuff with them. But you had that team that wanted to take charge of the Xbox project, and then you had this other team that was actually working on DirectX, which was the whole reason they went with making Xbox in the first place, because it was more PC friendly, like you could actually port those games onto a console. But they had to battle a lot with each other to like justify who could actually work on the game. They talked about making the Xbox prototype that they showed, which was that weird polished metal X thing that they would bring around every once in a while.
That sounds like vaguely familiar.
Internals in it. It's really good, man. You got to watch it. And just like the stuff they basically like as the train was going, like putting the tracks on to make it work at the last minute. A really cool story. But you got to watch it.
Huh? Yeah. No, I'm super down for it. I mean, you think about like it was crazy to try and jump into that market at that time. Like you've got the big boys. Like I think the Xbox or the Dreamcast basically was in the stages of being defeated. Why the fuck would you enter this arena?
Exactly, yeah. So Sega was still in there, but though once the Xbox launched, they were kind of on the tail end, and they ended up making a deal with having their games on Xbox. But you had PlayStation, which was the huge juggernaut, and a lot of the reason why they went into that field in the first place was because from Microsoft's perspective, they controlled your office and then your den, like anytime you did work. But then the living room, Sony owned it. They had all these entertainment products, stereos, radios, and then they had the PlayStation 2 and DVD players. And so they wanted to also enter that space. They couldn't handle Sony just owning the entire your home basically, or the living room at the very least. So they jumped in because of that competition, and then had to figure out, how do we make money off of this? They gave that team $1 billion to work on the Xbox within Microsoft.
That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah. And knowing that, hey, we're going to lose money on these boxes as we sell them. The idea is in time we make money off the software and we keep this train rolling. But it's a great insight into the entire history of it. And it's like American company jumping into this when all the other companies were still foreign at the same time. They developed all their own hardware, which meant that the developers had to figure out how to get their stuff to work on whatever chips and how they were arranged. And that was what ended up being so enticing to devs, was that this was made to work on PCs, vice versa. You can move that stuff around. That was their only like space that they carved out, was having that PC compatible stuff. And yeah, really cool, really cool. So there's like 6 parts. They're all like 45 minutes long, but I've been listening to that and also playing Halo and just like taking out chunks of the map. So it's a great way to just like stay in your Xbox world playing that.
I hope they at least spend, like, I see those chapters, I hope they do spend a decent chunk on Halo. It's I don't think it would have been a success without it.
I'm on that part where the Xbox is launching and they're securing the software at the same time. Halo wasn't done, basically. The Xbox itself they weren't gonna have enough to actually ship. They're securing all these different properties and working with Sega to get their games on Xbox, because at the time Sega was dropping the Dreamcast. So they already announced that. So they're securing that contract to move all their games over to Xbox. They had stuff like Crazy Taxi, all their Sega or Jet Grind Radio, they all premiered on the Xbox. So they're making that deal, but then Xbox, I guess they borked one of their presentations at either CES or one of those, where it just like wasn't working. And that was a time where they still hadn't like signed the deal with Sega, and Sega's ready to pull out. And it's like a lot of drama behind the scenes. It's really, really cool. But yeah, you got to watch it. I highly recommend that, especially if you're ticking off Halo stuff at the same time.
Hell yeah, I'm super down. That seems like a great way to do it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We've played Halo. Let's segue into that. We can spend as much time, because there's not a lot of new stuff going on too. So much time as you want. If you hate it, we'll just end it after 2 seconds. But what do you think about playing some Halo? How much time have you put into Halo so far?
I haven't played much this last week. I really haven't. I think since we last talked, I haven't played anymore. It's just been a kind of crazy times at home, so trying to lay low. I've mainly been like hanging out in my room, honestly playing Switch.
Gotcha. You could be playing Halo, but you're not.
On the Switch?
Well, I mean, on your PC, but yeah, with headphones on.
But I think we're gonna have to default to you, because I haven't progressed since we last talked. How has your experience really diving into the Halo, into Infinite? How's that kind of been? How many boss battles do you think you've done?
I've done about 4, and they're pretty tough. So I'm playing on Legendary. It's the second to last. There's God, what's the last one after? No, Legendary is the top one. I think I'm on Heroic.
Okay.
So the second to last difficulty, and it's tough, but it's still doable. Like I feel I'm progressing. The boss battles are the ones that really like give me a lot of struggle, but it's they're built in these ways where like you figure out kind of the lay of the land, what you have to use to your advantage, whether it's the environment or the different power weapons around you, or just running around and trying to like, give yourself time for your health to reboot. But I'm loving the entire game. It's really, really dope. You have played that initial level, right, before you get to the ring. And you said you did not like that.
Yeah, it was a bit linear, which is, Halo's known for being linear, but also I feel like it's a pretty, like, yes, it's a hallway, but I feel like it's a fairly wide hallway usually. Almost to the point of like a Bioshock, but not quite that much. So yeah, I guess that kind of bothered me, but also I'm not the biggest Halo fan, so I could see just I'm not used to that. But yeah, it's a blast. Cortana is just constantly talking.
Now, so you have the new Cortana-ish. So you have the weapon, which is like it's the same voice actor too, but it's based on AI of Cortana's AI is the weapon.
Do you know she voices apparently Princess Peach?
No.
Yeah, like I'm listening. I found out, and as I'm listening, like I don't even hear a single note of Princess Peach.
Wow.
Yeah,
did not know that.
So good I mean, she's got range apparently.
Yeah, she's playing. So there's times where you have the older Dr. Halsey, which Cortana's based off of, who's an older character. She's playing that voice. The original OG Cortana, who's also rampant now, and then you have the weapon. It's all the same styles of that voice, but like she actually gives you where you could tell this is like a different take on this voice, even though it's the same voice actor.
That's going to be so rewarding.
Right. To pull that off in that way, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Next Game Awards is going to be right up there with performance of the year. But even Master Chief, so he's typically very like just one cool phrase that he says. He's very quiet. He does come out of his shell, his Mjolnir armor a little bit more in this game.
Mjolnir armor?
Where
Wait, is that what it's called?
Yeah, MJOLRNYP. But he talks a bit more. He has more emotion a little bit. He's still like that robot, the Master Chief that we're known for, but he plays off of the AI very well, where they it's like the straight man, funny man kind of thing that they play off of. That's done really well. There's the pilot that you've interacted with already.
Right.
He sticks around with you. I found him in the beginning very annoying because he's always telling you, and it's funny because he's the only sane voice. He's like, "Oh, we shouldn't go on this ring. We're outnumbered. We don't have enough weapons. They already kicked our ass already. So we're back on this ring trying to fight them again." He's the only sound person giving you advice. And Master Chief's always like, "I got one bullet. Okay, I'm going to do it." And then you have Cortana or the AI. But so I found him annoying, but he makes sense. But as you play it, he starts to show more emotion. You realize like what he's fighting for or why he wants to be safe, and he's not sure of like doing this in the first place. And I think they did that well. They balanced that well with showing his emotion.
So something we're seeing here as well, not to jump away from what you're saying, but fuck that grappling hook.
Oh, that makes the game for me. It makes the game.
It's so good. It's a dumb thing, but like I almost wish in multiplayer just everyone had that, and then they can have whatever additional powers. It's that fun.
I thought that from the first flight, where I had such a blast flying around or zipping around the world with feeling like Spider-Man with this grappling hook. But in multiplayer, it's an equipment that you can find, and even if you do find it, it's like 3 or 4 goes and then it runs out.
Right.
For balancing purposes, I totally get it, but it's so goddamn fun. If once they start to unlock, and then we have Forge coming out eventually, they give you these game modes you can toggle. I for sure want to play somebody's game mode where it's just like infinite grappling hook. We're zipping around.
Right.
And it's going to make it hard to shoot people, but also you can move around too. So I can't wait for that. But yes, that new addition has been a great improvement to the gameplay, and it just makes it more fun to zip around. Like as I'm walking through Zeta Halo, I'm just using the grappling hook and scaling mountains.
Yeah.
I'm just doing that.
And I would say it's not even really overpowered either with how much you can traverse with it. It's just kind of fun.
It has the cooldown mode, so you can't go anywhere, but it feels very fun. It reminds me of when I first played Skyrim. You can follow the path up a huge mountain where they want you to go somewhere, but I'm just like an asshole jumping as much as I can. Yeah, just using any bit of geometry. I'm doing that with a grappling hook this time around, and it's fun.
Yeah. No, they did a great job. Have you come around on this gun? I think early on you said you didn't like it.
I do. That's one thing I like about the campaign is I'm playing around with different weapons that I wouldn't use in multiplayer because they're a bit strange. Because it's like life or death situation, feels like where it's like I'm gonna die if I don't use something I'm comfortable with. But with campaign, I feel more open to try stuff. I do like this because it looks like a shotgun, but it has quite a bit of range on it.
Definitely not a shotgun.
Right. Just the way you load it, it's like these huge bullets.
Yeah.
But I'm digging it. The battle rifle's dope. There's like a sort of assault rifle deal. It's not the normal AR assault rifle. There's a different one that's really cool.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's more of like there's a name for it. I can't remember, but it's like a streamlined kind of assault rifle, not the big bulky standard assault rifle from Halo. But even that one's fine to use. I like the regular assault rifle. But grenades are, dope. You can only hold 2 of each type of grenade. I would like to hold more because I'm an idiot. But I'm always flinging them. I'm using you can upgrade your grappling hook where you can shock enemies. So I'm doing that. I'm grappling to them, shocking them at the same time, and then melee, shotgun. Feels great.
I think one of the biggest strengths this game has is it's simple.
Right.
It's just,
they nailed the core gameplay of it.
Yeah. It's so good. Now we've added grappling hook and
you have the open world on top of that.
Yeah. I'm still getting used to the time to death in campaign as opposed to multiplayer. That's a little weird to me. Is this so you're not talking about this gun?
So that is a standard assault rifle. There's another one that it's not burst, which this one is burst.
Oh, I know.
But it's not the battle rifle where you can zoom in.
I'm terrible with that thing. Even though it's got way better accuracy, I just can't. Even though I've got my settings all honed in,
Yeah.
I can't keep that thing on point.
It reminds me of just the pistol, just like a high capacity version of the pistol.
I love this pistol though.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
In multiplayer, that's like my go-to. I think they balanced that so well. Yeah, nothing but good things. I'm trying to avoid finishing the story. As at the point I'm in right now, I think I'm 3/4. I'm pretty close to the end of the story. So now I'm taking off stuff around the map, so to just give me more time. But I'm about 15 hours in, I'd say.
Oh well.
But
Now, is the story doing it for you?
it is. So that's one criticism I've heard from a lot of people, and I think it's justified. But for me, I'm satisfied with what they're revealing. I think from what I've heard too, without trying to read the ending, the way there's not a payoff that people are saying. So I haven't experienced that yet. But what they reveal with the story, I'm liking. I like the new AI companion, which is the weapon. She's this. She's almost like this younger, kind of naive AI, but she's funny. She's not as serious. She plays off of Master Chief very well. There's the pilot that I've grown to like a lot, especially when he has this kind of breakdown and you have that moment with him. It's really cool. So I'm pretty positive on the story. I dig it. The other characters tend to bring out a little bit more in Master Chief this time around. He's not so like isolated, it feels like, from the past games. So I'm digging the story. They're revealing more about the ring and where it fits into the lore. And I find myself going back and watching a bunch of like just history stuff with Halo on YouTube to try and like familiarize myself with it. But I'm back. I'm back into the fan base with Halo. I dropped off with 5, and this one is a spiritual successor, so they're not erasing stuff, but they're kind of trying to thread this needle where it's like they're trying to bring new fans in and almost refresh it, but still keep that same storyline going. So it's a hard balance to strike, but I think so far they've achieved that for me.
You know what they should have done though is so they delayed this game like a full year, right?
Yeah.
It'd be really fun if they just isolated that build so we could say, okay, guys, here's the old build. Here's why we waited a year, and how much of a mess is that game.
I wonder if that helps, because that's an interesting argument. Like a lot of games, really any game could do that, where they have their old build that people are unsatisfied with, and go, hey, here's what it could have been. What do you think? Or like maybe that helps you realize like, oh, we've got it way better now with this build.
Right.
But it's like also showing a piece of your artwork that's not ready.
Right. Can you grab those shields with the grappling hook? I haven't tried it.
The shields that are planted, I don't believe you can.
No, the ones they hold up.
Oh, no, because they'll block it's like an energy shield, so they'll block your grappling hook.
Okay.
But yeah, it's sort of like, it's not to the point of Doom Eternal or the last Doom, where you have to use special weapons and special techniques for every enemy. But they do a little bit of that, where with those energy guys, you can't grapple to them. A lot of the brutes, you can still grapple to them, but they'll block. So once you get there, when your melees don't do anything.
Right.
So they do a little bit of that. I think they could go harder in that direction, where with Doom, you had to be doing specific things for each enemy, and it felt really good. This one, you can still like melee the shit out of people and get through stuff.
You know, that kind of reminded me when you brought up the Doom thing. I was after Space Marine 2 got announced. I was going through some threads of people commenting on the announcement, and people just overwhelmingly positive. Like I think one big comment that I kind of love is like, I'm not a Warhammer 40K fan, but I'm a fucking Space Marine fan. This game made it for me. But something someone pointed out, and I kind of forgot about, was that this game did the glory kill system, I want to say 2 to 3 years before Doom Eternal did.
Which one, a Warhammer?
The Space Marine.
Oh, okay.
It had that glory kill, so if you were doing bad in combat, the only way out is to do better in combat.
Gotcha.
And I completely forgot about that.
We have to lean in closer to finish it.
Yeah, I think the only, and one addition into that is like, so in like God of War, how there's that like Fury mode or whatever.
Yeah.
So this had that as well, and when you're in Fury mode, you're constantly regenerating health and dealing more damage, but you also get full Fury mode way more often. Like maybe every 3 battles you probably have full Fury. So it's actually a thing. Like God of War, I almost never used that damn thing,
or it would fill
so
up and I would
precious.
forget often too.
So it was an active resource that you are managing. So it like you either got to fight fucking better,
Yeah.
or you have to manage your resources, and that was really fucking cool.
Nice.
So that reminded me of that. But yeah, they did the glory kill system before Doom.
Well, this game doesn't have glory kills, but it does have the grunts that say very funny things to you.
I've heard they're fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. And it's weird where like, they could easily go the route where it's like cheesy, the amount of humor that's in there, but they balance it well where the grunts are just free to say whatever they want and it makes sense and it's hilarious. And you feel bad almost for shooting their head off.
I think that's something that's part of the reason why when I was watching people play it that it reminded me so much of Borderlands is like if the enemies are making you laugh,
Right.
That's that.
And the other characters will do that somewhat. Like you can commandeer out of the sky. You can find the not the banshees, but over those flying little deals. It's like I've never played a fucking Halo game in my life, but those the flying ships. They might be the banshees. Then the ghosts are the hovering ones. Yeah. So the banshees, you can grapple out of the air and commandeer them, and there are always elites in there, and they're always will say something snappy to you in their elite way. And they'll just be like, "Oh, this guy's, he's this person's stealing the chief is stealing my thing." Like they're just great with how they have these little quippy comebacks, but it works for their character too. And I love it. At one point, there's a grunt that will say when he kills you, he'll say, "Who's Craig now?" Referring to Craig the brute.
Oh, this is the only boss battle I fought. This guy was fun.
He was tough. Yeah, I dug it. There's a lot of these boss battles that are. I think they fit really well because there really isn't boss battles in Halo. They might just throw a bunch more enemies at you, but these guys they're well armored. They have their power armor over it too. So you have to just find whatever's around you and be really strategic with it. So it's cool. I'm liking it.
I think I died on them like 4 times.
I did as well. Yeah. Yeah. But when you finish it, it feels great. It's like, I imagine the same feeling why people love those Demon Souls games. Because once you die, once you do pull it off, it feels great. But these ones are actually achievable.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I mean, it just goes to, really a good boss design should be just fun. And this is fun to fight.
We want to keep playing. I have heard of other boss battles towards the end, which I'm kind of getting close to, that are very, very tough. And so I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm just listening to podcasts and clearing off stuff in the world. Oh, there's plenty of like audio logs you can find along the way that are really cool that explain the lore. And then just hearing the grunts and stuff, where more often now I'd like to hear the world. You don't want to just mute it out completely because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens around you. The sound around you is really, really awesome. And just hearing the nature sounds and the stuff that's going on and hear little battles in the distance. Yeah. I think they nailed it. I'm very excited I'm also wondering, and people are kind of breaking this down online, what does the future look like? So 343 has said, this is Halo. Like this is their Halo for this generation. There's not going to be a Halo Infinite 2. What they're going to do is add on to this one as it goes forward, kind of like a live service game. But from what I understand, and from what I played quite a bit of Halo Infinite. There's still a lot of the ring you don't explore. So did they just kind of start unlocking parts of the ring? Unless at the end you blow up the whole thing, then yeah, you have nothing left. But assuming that's still standing, I guess they could just unlock chunks. And this is a new world in a year or two. They unlock stuff like that.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, the focus is multiplayer and then adding stuff to this as time goes on.
I think one other comment from reviewers that I do immediately agree, and I started agreeing with it very quickly, is fuck, this would have been better with co-op though.
Yeah.
Especially with the boss battles. Like make them a little tougher too.
Right. And kind of scale it. I wonder how they're going to deal with that when it comes to co-op. Yeah. They could get back in good graces with the co-op thing if they pair the co-op announcement or launch with a new DLC, like a new part of the Halo ring to help to give you both, if both parties have finished it, which most likely like, in 6 months we have, they give you an incentive to join together to fight this new area. That could be cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's fan-fucking-tastic, and I love it. I'm a Halo fan now. I bought a cool Lego set of a Master Chief helmet, which I haven't showed you, that's in the room.
I think, it was displayed out there, right? I didn't realize it was Lego. It just looked like a helmet.
So it's not Lego, it's Mega Bloks. They still have the rights somehow to the Halo property. Somehow.
They've had that for so long.
It's been a long time. And you think eventually that runs out and they come time to like talk to Mega Bloks again, and they give them whatever amount of cash to still make it work. So, but it still snaps in. It works fine. It's not Lego, but feels like it. But as a kid, I remember getting burned where for one Christmas, and it's always in the back of my mind. One Christmas I got this huge pirate set, and I see that first. I'm like, oh, sweet, and I tear off more of the wrapping, and it says Mega Bloks, and I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like Rosard or whatever compared to Crayola.
I really like their. They had like a cool alien set that I had back in the day, and I fucking loved the Mega Bloks aliens. They were super cool.
Was it their own aliens or like Alien the movie?
It was their own aliens.
Gotcha.
And this is way pre Halo and stuff.
I see. I think they've gotten better now, but back in the day, it was like stuff wouldn't snap in. It was missing little nipple things, whatever those are called, that snapping together. It was bad. What's the proper term for the tiny little, for each little nugget of contact?
Stud, maybe?
Stud makes sense. I'm going to call them nipples. But do you have an interest to continue and actually see this campaign through?
I do. I do admit, like, co-op would just be way more fun, especially when you're saying, like, you haven't put in that many hours and you feel like you're almost done. Like, that seems very doable.
Yeah,
co-op.
With the campaign, at least, there's a ton of stuff that you can chip away at. It doesn't seem daunting too. Like there's a Witcher where there's just a ton of stuff on screen. That always kind of like overwhelmed me. I
Here's
think
a bar. Talk to everyone in it. Nope, I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah, and remember all their names too.
Oh, you didn't remember their birthday? Well, fuck you.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was playing before you got here and really digging it. I'm glad to be a fan of Halo again, and yeah, nothing but positive stuff.
You know what I ended up playing, which I'm sure I don't even know if this has crossed your radar though, is I think it's called Voice of the Cards.
Okay, now is it a card game?
Well,
all right.
Yes, but also not even really. So it is.
Any card game is always a card game.
It's no, but and this is the thing too. It's like, and reviewers agree, this isn't a card game. This is an RPG that takes place in the form of cards.
Okay,
but it has nothing to do with cards. Like, that's just the art style. Is everything is cards. But this is made by the guy who made Nier Automata.
Oh,
and it sounds like this was sort of just like a in between big projects game. I'm gonna make this thing, and I think that's why it's cards, because it's a very simple art style. I'm sure, like, this game probably costs almost nothing to make. But it almost feels like an indie game with like really high production values.
Is it set in that Nier world, or it's like its own? Okay,
no,
gotcha.
It's its own thing. But yeah, you're out there grinding, so like everything can level up. Like, the fact that it's cards has nothing to do with anything aside from maybe keeping production costs down.
I see.
But dude, it's fun. I'm curious to see how much my choices actually matter.
Yeah.
The combat is fun, so
it looks pretty cardy to me, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's technically cards, but also no, it's not.
I see. Okay.
So it's not like, like a Slay the Spire or anything. It's just the art style is cards.
Well, you know what? There's that Annapurna game that is also card based, but not. It's like a first person shooter ish, but it's card based, and it's from it's a well known dev that's doing this game, and it's like a really big departure from their last one. Man, I need to find this game, and it's coming out soon.
Maybe just Annapurna Games and see what pops up.
Yeah, it's almost like Doom with how you Neon Whites. There we go.
Oh, it's the shooter.
It's a shooter, but there's card involved in it.
Really original. Speaking of though, something I've been noticing. What's that weird fucking creepy card game that was put out by Devolver?
Weird creepy card game.
I can't remember what it's called. But it's whatever it is. It's like it's got the board anyway. It is.
Is it based on a property?
No, it's there it is. Inscription. This motherfucker has been top seller on Steam since it came out. This is a tiny and that makes me want to buy it. I wasn't gonna buy it because I don't have time, but top seller for what, like 2-3 weeks?
Wow,
you're not GTA,
right? Or Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah, like these people have more money than they know what to do with now. So this
is card gameplay.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like you want to get away from the board, you want to like do stuff. There's other elements like it's made by the creators of Pony Island, and it's very them like breaking the fourth wall, doing all sorts of weird shit.
I think I do remember this in one of their last ones.
Yeah.
I've seen some footage.
I remember seeing, like, I was watching a streamer play and they were like, oh, a knife, what does that do? And the first thing they do is stab out their eye. Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I need to check this one out.
That's cool. Yeah, people love. I think when you love card games, you really love card games. Like
This one's
up
more
your
of a
alley.
card game than the
Yeah.
thing I'm playing.
I see. Okay.
But something I just saw on the screen. Let's do Neon White. Yeah.
Just to check out some of the. So this is coming out soonish
Is
on
this-
consoles and Switch, but
Yeah.
you're able to toggle between powers, I believe, with the cards, and then you
Uh-huh.
can find new cards and swap them out, that kind of thing. But you're using the cards to shoot or to offer like different cooldown time and stuff and melee. But the way you're swapping, I'm trying to like wrap my head around it. But it looks really neat.
Yeah.
But you are using cards. And on paper, once there's cards, I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I don't see any more. But this does spark my interest.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like pretty well nothing else. I mean, aside from like an arcade shooter, but even that's clearly not an arcade shooter, even though it's an arcade shooter.
This is the Donut County dev. That's who it is.
Oh,
Remember Donut County, how weird it
that's
was?
Right. Man,
And this is like a crazy different game compared to that.
Man, that was a fun game.
Yeah, I love Donut County.
That was a great. I think I did that in one session.
Yeah, you easily could. That was the only one. I mean, I think I've platinum a game since on PlayStation, but for a while that was the only game I platinum, and I kind of liked that was the only platinum that had
Yeah,
to my name.
that was fun. We did see a little bit of the Matrix there on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
We'll jump to.
So they had the Matrix UE5 demo.
Yeah.
So I'll show you some of the clips here from the demo itself. So it's on PS5, Xbox Series devs, or
Can you not play it
Consoles.
on PC? Wow. This
not
looks...
yet. It's possible they will unlock that because the last time they let you play around with UE5 tools, that was it's like Elder something. It's the name of the demo where you're in this kind of sandy, rocky area with that female character.
Right.
They let PC players use that and play with it, but this one's just on consoles.
I did hear apparently they're going to release like the stuff for this.
Apparently, yeah. So it's all, and that's one
Which
big
is
thing.
insane.
They're really driving home with UE5 is like streamlining development. So all the buildings, the fire hydrants, all the assets, like they'll carry over. You can use that for your game, which is nuts.
This is using that. I forget what the system is called in Unreal. The nitrate.
Oh, right. I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a couple of terms that they've coined for their different features.
Nanite.
Nanites.
There we go.
And that's where it's scaling really well, right?
Yes.
Pixels and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. Just tons of polygons, which is to
Now
be
you're
fair,
seeing this is the gameplay game actual, if you can call it gameplay here. It's like you toggle between left or right options. It's basically like a rail shooter that's even more limited.
Sure.
But they're still using the engine to render like the physics, the effects, the particles. But it's just limited what you can actually do.
And you played on this on your Series S.
No,
correct?
I played this on PS5. I did download on Series S, but didn't really try it because once I kind of got my fill of the demo, I was set after that. But it shows off just how beautiful this engine looks and how all this stuff is running in real time.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry has a great breakdown, and they're showing comparison from this scene especially. And when they line them up between the series and the PS5, they're not one for one. Where the physics are handling when cars flip over and stuff, where it's a little different every time.
Really?
Just to show it's like this, the engine is actually doing it. They do cut between different scenes that they film within the engine, and they point it out when it happens too in that Digital Foundry breakdown. But they're able to do it pretty seamlessly. Like there's a part at the end of this where the bridge does blow up that is rendered already. Then they just like seam that into the scene.
Gotcha.
But then,
Go ahead.
well, there's the actual engine you get to play around with at the very end of this. And they show you there's like a debug menu that let you toggle stuff on and off. So you can do the day-night cycle. You can turn cars on, see their like collision and how they interact with the world. And you can zip around the entire, it's a huge city. Like I thought, okay, that's going to stop me at some point. No, it's this huge city. And everything's rendered instantly, basically. Like there's no pop-in as you whip around. It's all there.
Wow.
And crazy detailed, running on a console too. Like I think this is a good proof of concept where it's like, here's what this actually looks like running on your console at 30 frames. Yeah, the gameplay might not be there, but it's just showing you like this is achievable. It's just a matter of people. And now the tools are in the hands of devs, so it's only a matter of time before we see this kind of visual quality in games.
Right. This lighting is stupid, by the way. This
Right?
is just, good God. I really wish I could play this on my PC.
I think, I'm assuming eventually we'll be able to. Or they just lock this to consoles, I'm not sure.
Sure.
But yeah, it's pretty nuts to see like what is possible, and it's running in real time. I'm trying to think of the games that have announced they're already using UE5. I know the coalition with Gears 5 or the next Gears is working on UE5. Senua's Sacrifice, I believe they switched to UE5 as well. So
certainly
Wukong, right? They announced that they're doing that too.
You know, this reminds me, something I was very surprised at the Game Awards that we didn't see. Fable.
Yeah, that was a weird one. You think it'd be kind of a shoe-in, but that's the thing. I think Microsoft is holding this stuff till they're ready, and I assume the next E3 is going to be just like juggernaut reveal after reveal, where they really show what they've been holding on to.
Yeah. I mean, they're already starting to just put it all out there. Now, you, of course, have played Cyberpunk on a very powerful machine.
Yeah.
How does this kind of compare to that sort of thing?
I would say this looks better still, but there's a lot more going on within the actual gameplay of Cyberpunk where it's still harder to run, right? You have all this dynamic lighting, which this does, but it's still kind of like basic stuff it can depend on. But you have a bunch of different neon lighting. You're driving around, entering cars. There's destruction on the cars. There's not really that much level of destruction in this demo. So it's like, it's a lot of what's potentially possible, but if you draw everything back kind of thing. Once you start to implement, okay, we have, combat mechanics, we have particles are happening on screen, then you have to start to toggle things back and forth. I still think this is achievable, but at the moment, something like Cyberpunk on a 3080, 3090 looks, man, I don't know if you can say it looks better, but it's running at a natural speed and with actual things happening like a game would. And this doesn't have that same kind of stuff.
Right.
It's very tame with what's actually happening on screen. So they can kind of exceed in what they do. But with an engine or a game like Cyberpunk, it's like all this stuff is happening. You can shoot things, you can do things. So it's like, it's more taxing as far as what the engine can handle.
Right.
But this looks better, but Cyberpunk, while running, really looks very good. It's been a year since Cyberpunk as well. I've been seeing some people kind of retroactively looking at the last year with Cyberpunk were people too hard on it? Were we, where the criticisms valid they were, but like how has the build increased in quality since the past year? And it's been interesting to see those perspectives.
I need to pop in and finish that game. I think I'm only like 8 hours from the end.
Yeah, you're super close. Remember you telling me? I'm waiting to see once they eventually do DLC for it, which that's down the line, but they've pushed a lot of their stuff further into next year.
Yeah.
Which, man, this game probably needed another year to bake in the oven, right? It was done on PC basically, besides all the bugs and stuff, but even then it was still playable, but they might have needed an extra year on console.
Right.
And maybe they would have avoided a lot of the drama by doing that, even though that would have been super unpopular. But if they said, hey, this isn't ready, we need to wait.
Yeah.
But it was released and it's all part of the history books now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this demo's out. People can play it on next gen systems.
Dang.
It's pretty cool. But you played some Shovel Knight, right? Why don't you tell me about that?
I did. So I don't know. So this is someone actually playing. All right. Good.
Yes, this footage is here on YouTube. Iconoclast has the actual playthrough.
Yeah. So this turns into chaos immediately. And I'm very bad at it. But I want to get better. It's just it's very thinky, but also you see that timer where like if you don't move, everything moves at the same time you do. But if you don't move, it's gonna go ahead and move for you.
Oh.
And yeah, it's just very chaotic.
Are you trying to match things? Kind of like a Tetris.
So you're trying to defeat the enemies. But if you defeat an enemy, any enemies that are the same type next to it or touching that, they can chain.
Okay.
So you want to chain stuff.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. But it's almost like, I don't know, it almost reminds me of like a Yoshi's Cookie, or it's not a like pre-planned puzzle. It's just stuff dropping.
Or a Dr. Mario.
Or a Dr. Mario, yeah.
I never played it, but I know it's the same kind of cascading stuff that you have to get lines and remove the stuff on screen.
Right, exactly. And there's the door, so they need to get the key, and they get out the door.
That's a neat idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. It feels very fleshed out. It's just fucking brutal. And
I think it matches that world perfectly too, Shovel Knight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was watching a little bit of a streamer playing it before I came here, and they were talking about, I guess King of the Cards is a little more like puzzle, like planned puzzle.
Gotcha.
Whereas this is, it's very freeform. It's very chaos. I'm really they got these yellow boys here. So once you hit them, they block. And I'm really struggling with that mechanic.
Do you have some kind of attack that gets rid of that or defeats
Not
them?
not that I know of.
You have to plan or move around them, basically.
Yeah, so I'm terrible at fighting them.
Gotcha. And you can upgrade stuff, looks like?
Yeah, you can get some light upgrades. You can get some items, but I think you can only hold one at a time. Also, something that I think is kind of fun, but also frustrating is you're going to take damage. So anytime you attack an opponent, they counterattack. So you are constantly healing, getting back into the fight, healing, getting back into the fight, which I'm really bad at.
And then you have to find these healing potions in the actual sea of stuff, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So it's just a lot. I should be playing it. I think this distance from the screen would be more ideal. I'm playing on PC, so
just
it's a little closer. So yeah, it's very hard to see everything.
Yeah,
but
now was this planned to release on mobile, or are they just going for a mobile style of gameplay? Because it's not on phones. It's just on
Yeah.
Switch and PC.
it's not even really mobile style of phones. It sounds like it's a confusing title, but you're in a pocket dimension.
Okay. Because
So-
yeah, the pocket thing I think of,
Yep.
it's not like a Game Boy, it's like a phone.
Yep. I think everyone is confused by that one. So, but
Gotcha.
yeah, it's fun. It's fast paced, but fuck, it's tough.
Is it Yacht Games that owns this, or is it dev?
Yacht Club, but they've
Yacht
also
Club.
got a few different studios making stuff for them. So Nitro made something I can't remember. This was made by Vine Games.
Hmm.
So
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Mhm.
Also, it spikes my anxiety watching this. So
yep. Well, you should try playing it because
yeah, I imagine. Jeez Louise.
so much worse.
All right, yeah. Well, we got some news we can jump into.
Yeah.
Switch over to that. We got the first one here. Talk about some Halo. Oh, you know what? Last thing on Halo is they've tomorrow or today you can actually play different multiplayer modes. So there's a Team Slayer, Fiesta, Free for All, and Tactical Slayer. So they've been adding some stuff to it. And I don't know if you've played around with the progression system since playing, but they've updated that. And I feel like you're earning stuff way faster now. It feels like you're actually, whether you do well in a match or not, just by playing, you're able to progress through the levels, which with way more speed than before. So it feels really good now.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
I definitely remember you it'd been like 5 days of you playing nonstop.
Yeah, and I was like
I'm
negative
level-
2 levels or whatever.
I'm level 7. I mean, the Pop Tarts and the Hot Pockets or whatever I gotta
Yeah.
do.
I ate them, but nothing changed. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a bummer. So they've listened to the reception, started to adjust stuff in a way that I think feels like it's just a bit more natural with how you progress. And they also playing campaign, you can unlock multiplayer skins through that too. So there's a
Ooh,
back and
that's
forth there,
fun.
right?
Gives you a little incentive.
Exactly. So we got a first one here, Gavin. Bioshock's time period and setting may have leaked.
Oh boy.
So a little bit of tidbit on that.
I have,
Switch
I
to
have
some
no
B-roll.
guesses. I know you teased this at the Game Awards.
I teased this as a possibility, but we didn't see any announcement at the Game Awards. I thought that was a shoe-in. But so this is from GamesRadar.com. The next Bioshock game will reportedly take place in a fictional Antarctic city. Though only speculation at this time, so don't take this as gospel just yet. Sacred Symbol's Colin Moriarty reports that the game returns to its 1960s roots, this time in a city called Borealis, which seemingly tallies with what other journalists have been told about the project off the record. While we know the fourth game, which will apparently be set in open world, was in development, this is our first tease about where the next Bioshock game will take us. There's no confirmed name for the game yet, which will be a franchise's fourth installment, but it's been internally codenamed Parkside. Moriarty believes the team at Cloud Chamber has incredible latitude to get it right, and the game will tie in with previous Bioshock games.
Ooh.
So this is a potential, could happen, but it seems like everyone in the journal sphere of games says that this is legit, that it's taking place in the 1960s and somewhere in Antarctica.
Man, I was still hoping for Inside Your Body or whatever.
Yeah, you had brought that up.
Oh
where
god, I
was
forgot about these fucking
oh yeah, I forgot this is the B-roll I
depictions.
put up. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, you realize this place is racist when you're up there.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Actually, at my last playthrough, I wanted to see what happens if you try and throw the baseball.
They just,
Yeah,
it proceeds. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that is a thing.
They were gonna grab your hand no matter what.
Yep. So this is the last one, Infinite, taking place in the sky. And so now you're in a cold area, but maybe it's more of, and I wonder how they can play off of that. So if it's taking place in Antarctica, so it's going to be some kind of cold biome, or the surrounding area is this place that you can survive naturally, right? Some kind of weird domed or underground city in Antarctica where it's super cold. But I mean, we still have a lot that we could, theorize on, where it's, you have that time place setting still, but who's the equivalent Big Daddy in this world? What's the whole issue with why they built this place in the first place?
Right.
Do you have that same Andrew Ryan issue? Could be flat Earth. Is the
It's at the edge.
conspiracy.
It's the edge of the holding all the water in.
That could be. Yeah, there you go.
That would actually kind of work.
That could work in a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just people think that that's legitimately what's going on,
Yeah.
but that could work in a game,
Oh. No, I play the shit out of that now. Please Cloud Chamber.
right? I think we are close to an announcement because this was already announced to be in development maybe about 2 years ago now by Cloud Chamber. So they've had a lot of time to cook this thing up. And I think we see some kind of CG concept like we saw in the past, and then we see gameplay. So I think this year we are going to see some kind of update on Bioshock, whatever the new one is called. Bioshock, it's cold out here. Here we go again.
I think the thing that kind of, and I know this may not be a popular opinion, but it excites me is that we have Ken Levine away from it.
Do you think that's not a positive, not having him there?
I think he was, while he's very talented, he also they were changing everything constantly. And that's why he slowed down production, stressing out devs. Your work is now invalid. It's just a lot of bullshit with that. I think this formula can be done by normal ass human beings.
Yeah.
Just give us a setting, give us a way to play with that. Because you think about the original Bioshock, it didn't play with the water too much. It did a bit.
Yeah, it's more set dressing and look cool and kind
Yeah.
of push the tech around it. But
I mean, it stuff would start flooding. So they definitely did play around with the water a little bit. This one, being in the sky, they did fantastically.
sure.
So I imagine really lean into that, make the cold mean something, going between dome cities or having to survive. I think they could really knock it out of the park. And if you but the story is important. These games have all had good stories. Debatable. I like to, but mainly for the gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are you kind of feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm excited. I just want to see what this actually looks like. And I'm so ready to see what they've been working on. And also, I wonder if I imagine they can. With this whole series, they've really created iconic villains, characters with the original Big Daddy. You have the Songbird, even the big sister, whatever her name is in 2, with the big syringe, and she's more acrobatic and stuff. You have Elizabeth. They've created all these really cool, iconic characters. I want to see them continue that. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next one, where what is that new monster that you fight? What is this new world with all these crazy... And then in Infinite, you had the weird patriotic figures like the George Washington Steambot robots. They had a lot of cool ideas that were just instant classics. So I'm excited to see if they can hold that same level of, iconic just characters and stuff, set places going on.
Right.
But I'm so stoked and can't wait for them to actually show something off. Yes, but hopefully soon. But either way, possibly this is where it's taking place and what the time is going to be.
Yeah. Man, this game still looks
good. It's not that old.
fucking gorgeous. Yeah. And I replayed it not too long ago. I still think it holds up really well.
Yeah, and there's a Bioshock collection too on consoles, and it's now $5 on PCs. You can get it super cheap.
Speaking of this style of game, though, I guess System Shock, the remake of System Shock, was pushed to 2020.
Yeah, I played the demo a couple months ago.
Did you?
Yeah, this was maybe last summer. There was a quick demo either on PC and Xbox, and I think it was on PC. It's cool. It's just I don't know if I like the gameplay at the end of the day, but it is cool. It looked really pretty. They did this, remaster. Style to it and brought it back to life. Yeah, I don't know if the full game is going to be something that I'm into, but it was interesting and it looked really cool and it was very creepy.
Huh. I wonder
makes
if the
any
demo's
sense.
still out there. I may have to check
It
that out.
might be. All right, Gav, I got the next one here. Bully 2, possibly back in development.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this has been scooting around online here.
Did you ever play this game?
I did not. So it was a Rockstar game, but I just never played it.
I know a lot of people liked it. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, same. So this is from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Industry insider Tom Henderson stated on Twitter on Monday that he was aware of people being shown a playable version of the game. Bully 2 was expected as a potential surprise reveal at the Game Awards last week, after some people have been shown some material alluding to a reveal soon. He explained, "Information is a bit blurry at the moment, and I have to be quite vague here, but if I hear more, I will report on it." So VGC reported in 2019 that a sequel to Bully was in development in the early 2010s, but fizzled out after 18 months of development. Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser and a handful of his most trusted developers wrote a script for Bully 2 as early as 2008, which contained the first few scenes and outline of the rest of the story. So this could be back in development from Rockstar. Didn't play the original, So I don't know what the how the story continues, what they would continue on. I know it was kind of controversial even before people played it because you were a kid and there's potential violence because you're like beating up other kids. And then coming off of like GTA 3, you're like, oh, you're going to be murdering other kids and it's the kid murder simulator. It's like, it wasn't that.
Right.
And I think it had a good story that people dug, but never played it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully so. I mean, Rockstar's basically been killing it with literally everything. So
Yeah.
Well, aside from the newest
GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah, the remasters have been tough. But the original properties that they've been making sequels on have been, really dope. And they could really stop making games and just bank on GTA Online for the next 20 years. But they're still making stuff. And yeah, we'll see if that actually gets announced soon or revealed soon, rather. Yeah. But apparently it's back in development. A little bit.
May not hold up that well.
Yeah, the thing, it's like PS2 era, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So move on to the next one here, Gavin. Ubisoft just updated its Splinter Cell trademark amid reports of a new game. As I switch to my right, B-roll here. So this is from GamesRadar.com. A Splinter Cell trademark has been updated by Ubisoft amid reports the company is working on a new entry for the series. The trademark filed on December 6th is a renewal of the previous filed Splinter Cell trademark from May 2017. So the recent set of changes remove the phrase interactive multiplayer computer game from the filing, replacing it with providing an online computer game. That could mean that there will be online elements to the future Splinter Cell game, but the Ubisoft is walking back some previously planned PvE or co-op elements. Gosh. So maybe more microtransactions or whatever popular Ubisoft things or NFTs thrown in there too.
Oh my God.
Right.
Did you hear Peter Molyneux's working on an NFT project now?
It's a blockchain something, and I tap out once I see that because I don't know what it means, and I know they're very unpopular right now. NFTs in general, blockchain stuff, Bitcoin, it's like super duper toxic right now online. So I don't know, good luck, good on them. But like Ubisoft had this NFT thing they planned and they kind of walked it back a little bit after the negative reception. So I'm wondering with a lot of these companies jumping into it, because it's a really popular thing right now. But once you do that, all the reception online is majoritively negative. So it's like, why do you do it?
I don't know.
Because nobody wants it apparently.
Yeah. But if one gets through, then that's fucking horse armor all over again.
Yeah. When it comes to games, I don't know how that works with NFTs, and if it's just another new microtransaction thing that runs amok, play to win kind of stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also just don't know how they work, and I know people hate them. Anytime I'm always reading online like to see what the reception is. People across the board are just like, get rid of this. Right. Twitch that had some controversy too because they were implementing some kind of NFT stuff, and people just roasted them online, and they rolled that back as well pretty quickly.
Right.
So it's like anytime this pops up, people seem to say they hate it. So I don't know who's it's for at the end of the day. I
also don't understand the difference between an NFT and a cryptocurrency.
From what I understand, it's very limited, right? But they're using the cryptocurrencies to mine or to like solidify or make the NFTs valuable. There's some kind of connection there. They use NFT or the Bitcoin or whatever that digital coin is, because it can be different ones, to make the NFT, give it its seal of approval and actually commit value to it. And then people trade them and they determine value on top of that. So somebody else could buy it for something for more than what you paid for it, giving you money. Somehow you get a percentage off the future sales of the NFT as well. So I think that's why a lot of people do find it interesting. But it's like, besides the people that trade it, everyone else on the outside either don't know what it is or don't like it.
Right.
So in order for that to succeed, it's like you need to build that base. But the base either doesn't know what it is or wants nothing to do with it. So I don't know how that grows.
Yeah, it just sort of feels like snake oil. And like the fact that we have Peter Molyneux, who's sort of a notorious snake oil salesman.
I think you have a lot of rich dudes who are like, oh, this is the future. I'm going to jump on that and pump money into it. But I don't know if there's enough people to keep it alive. At the end of the day, I don't know, Gavin, but it is a big deal and it's always being talked about. And we'll see if it falls apart or if next week we're getting paid in NFTs at our job. I don't know. It's either the future or it burns and crashes in a month. So
is that not the Pokemon cards? They're just going to start paying you in those?
That's true. I'll take those. They'll still have value. Those are big. But yeah, some Ubisoft news after this one too. So that was a potential Splinter Cell coming up soon. I don't know how big of a Assassin's Creed fan you are, but there's this new DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey that people are freaking out over. So this is Ivor and Cassandra will meet face-to-face in a free event coming to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla. This is from IGN. and I'll switch over to my B-roll. Bam.
There we go.
There we go. Bam.
Oh boy, we've gone
This is a trailer for that DLC.
full fantasy.
A free content update is coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as well as a previous game in the series, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, on December 14th, that unifies the two timelines. Odyssey protagonist Cassandra will cross paths with Valhalla protagonist Eivor in a new event called Assassin's Creed Crossover Stories. In addition to a newly announced crossover event, a major paid DLC expansion is coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla next year, titled, I don't want to say Assassin's Creed anymore, Assassin's Creed Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarok. The story expansion is coming to the game on March 10th, 2022, and it will take Eivor to the realm of Norse mythology as the character embraces a new role as a Norse god Odin. So Ubisoft, this is saying this is their most ambitious DLC pack for Valhalla. It's like this huge chunk of content.
Right.
And has to do with more with Norse mythology. Ragnarok's in the title, so it's kind of, they're going full force into that world.
Right.
People are digging this. Seems cool, at least with this concept, this CG stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I meant to play. It came out last year, Valhalla, and it's on sale everywhere. Like, I think I'll end up getting this on PC, but I want to try it. I want to see this DLC, see what's going on there. But I feel like Ubisoft gets a lot of shit. They did a good job rebooting or kind of nailing the new vibe for these Assassin's Creed with the last one and this one. So I want to see them succeed with it, and people do seem to like this last one. Yeah, I want to try it, but I think I'm gonna wait for this DLC to come out.
I'll be curious. Are they not doing the Animus anymore? Is the original plot gone?
I'm not the person to answer that.
Okay.
I think it exists because I think you still go into these time periods through that. I just don't know to what point that's involved and how big of a deal it is.
Right.
I think they're still unfolding that story along with the past as well. Maybe it all gets summed up in that movie that came out with what's his face a couple years ago.
What?
Remember that Assassin's Creed movie?
No.
Had
I have no idea what you're talking about.
not Cumberbatch in it, but another guy with who's like British.
This was real?
Yeah, we can find it up right now.
Oh boy, was it terrible?
It gets I think it was it was hit or miss for a lot of people, but it was Assassin's Creed, just titled Assassin's Creed, and it had that dope Kanye West song in the trailer.
Oh.
I'll look up Assassin's Creed movie trailer. Here we go. Yeah, who's the dude? I know his name.
Wow.
God, show me the
2016.
name.
So this has been a minute.
Michael Fassbender. There we go.
He's a good choice for the person going in the Animus.
He's just a dope all around. Like anything he's in, I'll watch.
Right.
He isn't in a lot recently too. This is one where you always update me every week with like, I watch this one random action movie. This is very much up your alley to watch. Gavin?
That and like you revealed to me something I had no idea existed.
Yeah. We got an update on a Terminator movie. Game, sorry.
Oh.
I'd be shitting my
This
pants.
is from that studio that made a bunch of bad games, right?
No, well, maybe. I'm not sure the history on this dev. So this dev is Slytherin, but it's not the first person Terminator game that came out a little while ago. That was Terminator Resistance, which, you know what? As I read reviews, people that played it dug it. So that's one game I do want to try too. And it visually looks cool. Like they nailed that kind of world, but I don't know how the gameplay holds up. Right. Anyways, this game is called Terminator Dark Fate Defiance.
Oh.
So it is an RPG, real-time. RTS, yeah.
Wow.
But here's it's kind of an overview of the world and some battle scene stuff. We got the lasers.
Yep.
And I watched this it's just a tiny snippet. The Terminator world.
Okay, so you can climb buildings. That's pretty cool.
Okay. This Terminator world, this story does work better probably in a game than a movie. Sure. And maybe in any attempt we should do with movies, like just put it more into like experiencing the world in a game. And dropping Arnold, just like having you deal with the future war or having you deal with a Terminator like in current time. That could be dope, but maybe its lifespan is better in a game than a movie. But Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is what
it really gave me a Company of Heroes vibes.
Was that an RTS as well?
Yeah, but you could climb buildings, you could destroy the buildings. They were these huge sweeping battlefields about like this with lots of artillery and stuff. So
gotcha. Huh. Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of the style of gameplay. I'm sure there's one that will eventually come and crack it for me where I dig it, but yeah, I'm a big Terminator fan, so maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well,
that was shown off today.
Looks like an RTS.
Looks like an RTS. Tell you what. This game, Gavin, we talked about it before. But I want to show you a trailer. It's actually launching on PS4 and PS5 very soon.
Ooh.
So here's some gameplay from it. But it's called Pray to the Gods.
Oh, speaking of, there's another one. It's like Sludge or something or Slime.
Oh, the Gunk.
The Gunk.
That's on Game Pass today. Yeah,
Oh, today?
I believe so.
Well, I'm going home and downloading that because it
all up in the
looks
Gunk.
fucking dope. But anyway, let's give Pray to the Gods.
Yeah, so we'll watch the Gunk trailer after
Yeah.
this. But this is Pray to the Gods.
Oh, buddy. We hitting them Shadow of the Colossus
Yeah,
vibes.
it's 100% Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm surprised you haven't played this already. So it's on PC and Xbox. It's coming recently to PS4 and PS5, but you can play this now,
Yeah, I'm done.
right?
I mean, it definitely looks like a ripoff, but okay. All right, so you got some minor guys. Oh, fuck.
And see, ripoff or hey, that dev hasn't done anything in this world in decades or over a decade now. Somebody's got to do it.
I
So
mean, they're
coming
never
in.
making a sequel. So just
It's
yeah,
not Blue
fuck.
Point. They did the remake, but who did
Yeah.
who did Shadow?
I don't know.
It's not is it Team Ico?
Yeah, that's
they're not
right.
around
That's right.
anymore,
Yeah,
right?
that's their team. They're not around anymore?
I feel like they're not. Didn't they? Something happened with them?
I don't know. They take decades to make games.
Well, I
so
know-
I could see them running out of money.
I think they split after the Last Guardian. There was drama there, and then Sony had to pick up the pieces and like keep it going.
Oh.
But Team Ico was a Japanese game developer, yeah. So they stopped after Last Guardian because it was a shit show. And I think people in that studio splintered off and created their own stuff after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as of 2011, they are no longer a thing.
That's fantastic. What's that called again?
That is called Pray to the Gods.
Pray to the
It's on
Gods.
Steam. I want to say it's still like early access or beta,
I'm
but
gonna put that down. That looks
Yes.
fun, and
Yeah, I'll
it
text you again,
does
too.
a little bit to mix things up.
right. Yeah, I think that'd be right up your alley. I'll look up the Gunk while you're doing that.
And it looked gorgeous too.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember originally they had a different name and they had to change it too for legal reasons. It was, I want to say it was Pray, Pray,
Oh no.
and it couldn't be Pray to the Gods for whatever reason. And it was then Prey like a hunter seeking prey kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is out. I do want to try that. I'm very interested in that game.
Gunk.
The Gunk gameplay trailer.
Gunk. Bubba Gunk.
I'm pretty sure I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure this is on Game Pass already, or if not, very, very soon.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very soon, but if it's today, like
I know Aliens Colonial Marines. No, Alien Fire Team comes out to
Oh.
Game Pass today.
Colon Marines,
Yeah, that's the bad one.
God, it's just pretty.
It's very pretty.
And
yeah.
this studio knows how to make a goddamn good game. Makers of SteamWorld, SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld, and then something, and then they made that art. They have a RPG I was playing for a little bit. This one.
So the Gunk is in 2 days.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Firewatch goes to Game Pass. Among Us goes to Game Pass on December 15th. So a lot of Game Pass stuff. Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh.
But yeah, what's this studio known for?
The SteamWorld franchise.
Gotcha. Like SeaWorld Dig.
Yeah.
I just recognize that name, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a looker.
Yeah. Give them a shot, and it's Game Pass gate like day one, right?
I believe so.
So no excuse not to.
Right.
Aside from the fact that I'm playing too many games right now.
Yeah, that's the I like the goopy mechanics, physics going on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There are too many games. Like I want to jump back into RE4 VR,
Sure.
but I'm just like, balls deep in Master Chief right now.
I mean, at what point do I finish fucking the Outer Wilds DLC?
Oh yeah, you're still on that.
Part of it was giving me like stress dreams.
Ah.
So that's part of the reason I slowed down on it.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, Gavin, that is all I have for you today.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. That's
We're at an easy hour and a half, so I think we're definitely good on time.
yeah.
But yeah, so we can end it there. I'm excited to play some Gunk. You got to play Pray to the Gods when you get home.
Apparently.
Add that to your list of games. At least try the first 30 minutes, see what you think. But it's another looker for sure.
Yeah, played a whole 10 minutes of Shovel Knight. That's my whole $20 right there, right?
Yeah, I've done that before for sure.
Oh boy.
All right, Gavin, we'll end it there for the week. Where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. You can keep up the show as well on Twitter at Plastic Art Pod. That's it for us this week. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.